Hi, it's Mark Rogers here with you on the Always Fish YouTube channel. It's a channel I put up about 5 years ago and I just haven't used it hardly. Put up 6 or 7 videos on it. I think just a place to store the videos is what I put it up for, but not anymore. What I hope is that this video right here will mark just the first of many to come on this channel. I specialize in fishing either small areas of larger lakes or fishing small Game and Fish Commission lakes, water supply lakes, and even city park lakes, 12 or 13 acre park lakes. That's what I fish most often. That's what I have the most experience with, and that's what I'm going to be sharing mostly on this YouTube channel. So today what I'm fishing in is a local park lake that I've fished for years. I've fished it since I was a teenager because it went from being just a lake out in the middle of a wooded area of the city to a park. And that park lake developed, and the Game and Fish Commission became involved with this lake as a community and family fishing location. And at one point it was drained about 15 years ago, redeveloped, new spillway built, refilled. It's just been a great place, great source of fishing ever since then for everybody in the city. In this lake they stock bluegill, bass, catfish, and 4 months out of the year in the winter months they stock trout. A couple of weeks ago, they drained the lake down to about 30%, and a great deal of the lake bed is still showing. You can walk around on the lake bed and have to be careful where you step, as a matter of fact, because you'll sink in the mud. But what I want to share with you today is I went out today, and because I had caught some bass up in shallow water over the last few days, this is March 17th, and we've had a mixture. This is Arkansas. We've got a mixture of cold weather that we normally have, plus these strings of warm days which we have had here just over the last week. And so I went out this morning after having 2 or 3 of those nice warm days, and went out just a little after daylight this morning, as a matter of fact, and started fishing down the east side of the lake. And I swear I must have caught every small bass on that side of the lake this morning, and along with a couple of trout. Fishing with 2 things: fishing with a Roadrunner with a couple of little different curl tails and swim tails, and with a rooster tail spinner, which is no surprise. So come along with me here right quick. I'll show you how I fish some of these things, what I was looking for, and you'll see how I was fishing and what I was fishing it with. Which, by the way, the gear that I use on this channel most of the time is not anything expensive. That doesn't mean it's bad equipment. It's good equipment. It works very well. But it's not expensive. It's equipment that anybody would be within anybody's budget to get at least one rod and reel. And the ones that I was using this morning were inexpensive rods and reels, but you'll see that they work just fine to catch the fish I caught. And if I had hooked anything much bigger than that, and a bunch of them, they would have worked for that too. So come along with me. Let's go see how I caught these fish this morning at this park lake that's been drained 30%, and in the winter, still winter time, after a string of warm days. Here's what happened. Well, I'm walking out on one of our park lakes is right now. I've been fishing here this last couple of weeks. The city decided to drain it about 30% down to take soil samples to build something in it. Some kind of nonsense to help ruin the lake for a while. But in any case, there have been some fish active down here in the upper end. Now this is today, I think, March 17th, and it's still winter, and we've had a string of warm days here, cold then warm, cold warm, just like usual this time of year, but we have had a string of warm days. Well, let's make our way around the lake here and see what we got. Well, came down here, just moved down the bank a little bit, and there's the first one. Typical the size I've been catching out of here. Now I've actually caught some decent ones out of here for this lake. It's just a little bitty guy here, but he was willing. This is light tackle, still fun to catch. See what else is out here. So I love to fish. Just nothing quite like fishing. There's one. Willing little boogers. Listen, folks, you can have fun fishing. No matter the size, he's gonna work his way back in there without me throwing him back, it looks like. Come on in there. Go on, you got it. This is a catch and release lake for bass, by the way. I have to change out my little grub here. I'm going to switch to a this, I don't know what I forget what name this is. It's a Strike King bait. I think it's 2 inches long, 2.5 inches long, swim tail on this Roadrunner head, and see if I can stir up something a little bit bigger than I'm catching so far. I'll take them all this morning because just so doggone much fun, but there we go. Look at there. I lost that one. Folks, I'll tell you one thing I'm never without is one of these diamond knife and hook sharpeners. It's got a hook sharpening groove down the middle, and it doesn't matter, you know, whatever kind of hook sharpener you like, that's fine, but you should always have a hook sharpener with you. I've just, the last 2 bass I've hooked here have come unbuttoned, and I knew that the hook was a little bit dull. I'd felt it on my thumbnail. Well, I'm going to put a rooster tail on another rod here and freshen up the bait on that other one, but I'm going to try this rooster tail for a few minutes. If the fish are hitting something that flashes and appears to be a bait fish, minnow, I would think a rooster tail would be an attractive alternative to the other one. Okay, try a few shots with a good old rooster tail. There he is. That one is, I think, bigger than the ones I've been catching. This is very light tackle. All I do is lift them up over this mud, though, because I can't step down in the mud. These little light rods, that's not too bad, though, is it? Rooster tail fish. There's one. Feels about like the size of the other ones. That's a trout. This is what's ringing on top of the water this morning. What I'm seeing out here. I figured I might get one of these eventually. All right, be still. Stop. Quit. I'm not gonna get you with that rooster tail if you don't be still. Be still, be still, be still, please. Little trout. Make a good meal, but not keeping them this morning. There's a fish. A lot of these are last year's spawn. Goodness.
Yeah, there's one. That's another trout. Look at that. Been fishing for trout out here all this year. Haven't done much good. Coming out here this morning thinking I'm gonna catch bass and catching these trout. That's not a bad one. What is it this time? A largemouth. It's the smallest bunch of largemouth I've ever caught out here all at once. Now I'm using Roadrunner again, and I'm using a little different tail here on this little curl tail grub here. It's a twin tail. Got a split tail there. Again, Strike King, chartreuse and white. There we there's one thing that comes of it right there. Look at there. Well, that's the best one I've caught this morning, I think. Keep him on here. That's a lot of fun on this light tackle. She's hard enough to make me strain a little bit. Or big enough to make me strain a little bit. There he is. Another tiny tot. Man. Well, they go at it hard. That's the final fish of the day. I've had a good time. They showed me a good time, but I'm about worn them out on this side of the lake, and got to get on to other things now.
So there you have it. Just went up and down that bank there and just caught fish until I got tired of fishing. I actually had to just get on to other things there. Obviously the bass were small. Some of them were last year's hatchlings. There were a couple of them that were, 1-pounders. But here's the important part to remember there is to downsize your gear. When you downsize your gear, all fishing is fun. So if you know you're going into an area where you may catch some good sized fish, but most of them are going to be smaller, downsize that tackle to where those smaller ones give you a serious challenge. That's what I was using this morning. You can see that. You can see how the rods were bending. You could hear the drag going zzz because I had it set really light using light line and those small baits. So lighter line, lighter gear, any kind of fishing is fun. And I had a blast this morning fishing just like I did in those videos. Hopefully you got something for those videos. You saw how I did that. You saw what I did it with. And you can repeat that in any kind of small lake or even a larger lake where you've got areas, coves, where fish can transition in and out as the cold water is warmed by the sun in these days where you have some unseasonably warm days like we've had. It's a good time to get out there and catch some fish that will move right up close to the bank when normally they would be out further. So this time of year, fish are moving in to spawn naturally, and they come in and out real quickly when that sun comes up and begins to warm the water a little bit. So that's about it for today. I'm Mark Rogers, and I'll see you again on another Always Fish YouTube channel video.